Instagram is telling our followers that Art1st India has gone live. Today is an exciting discussion that we'll be having with artist mentor Abhinav, and I can't wait for everyone to meet him. Hello, Abhinav.
Hi,
Nice
Wynona.
to
How
see
are you?
you.
Same
I'm
here.
good. Nice to see you. I actually was hoping we could have some kind of audience interaction. The last time we had this, there was an issue with the video. If you guys are watching us, can you maybe type and tell us if the sound is fine and if the angle is fine? Hi, Vishali. Hello, Ritu. No, nice to see
Hello,
everyone
guys.
here as well. So, Abhinav, let's wait till a few more people join us and then we can begin.
Sure,
But I'm quite
sure.
excited to speak to you again face to face this time as opposed to over the phone because our phone conversation was really nice. Thank you for the feedback, Ankita. And is the video fine? Can you see both of our faces? Is this distance all right? Okay, Abhinav, let's begin.
Yes, I'm totally
Okay,
excited for this conversation.
Abhinav, maybe you could frame yourself a little bit better. We have one feedback.
Is this
I
better?
think you look very nice. This is a lovely frame for you, yes.
Okay.
Cool. So thank you for joining us today, Abhinav. Abhinav is an artist mentor with us at Art1st, and he is just such a brilliant mind to speak with because he's always booming with ideas. In the Art1st office, I work on a lot of social media, and oftentimes I am told, Abhinav has great ideas, you should speak with him. So I'm very excited for everybody to meet Abhinav here. So just right off the bat, Abhinav, it would be really interesting to hear what drew you to the arts and how do you think that initial connection reflects in your practice today as an artist?
Thank you, Wynona, for such a lovely introduction. And I think since uh, childhood, I've been drawn. I've been. I was interested in drawing, and I've ever since I was fascinated with animation and the world of fantasy, all of that. So I think that has very much subconsciously, consciously, that has influenced my art practice and also my teaching practice because um, whether it is through colors, through composition, even through subject matter, I think it has really influenced the animation and the fantasy world. That has really influenced me. And yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. So, do you watch a lot of animated films when it comes to drawing inspiration? Because animated films are they're very musical, they're very cartoonish, obviously. So everything is quite exaggerated, and I feel when it comes to a classroom, children tend to be a very dramatic bunch. So, do you
Mhm.
think that kind of exaggeration and all of that movement kind of automatically makes its way into how then you can, use all of that energy and challenge that into how you kind of command that classroom or just that one learning session?
Yes, that whether the way one speaks or the activity one designs, there is always an exaggeration where there is an involvement of body movement, whether it is through sound or through storytelling. How can even while talking you animate yourself and put punches when you're speaking. So that really gives uh, brings or draws attention of children towards what one the one what one is transacting. And also, I feel that since children are very much influenced by the world of imagination and fantasy and characters, superhero characters, but then instead of asking them to, what they have already seen on screen or whatever that influenced them, instead of repeating that, it would be great to have their own set of characters or own set of world that they imagine. So we as a I as a mentor or I as a teacher, especially in the classroom, I always encourage children to think on their feet and come up with something of what they think would work. So through observation and through we ask them to push yourself, and if you like Superman or Batman or Ant-Man or whatever, but then you can think of your own superpowers, or you can seek inspiration from any other animal or insect or anything, and maybe if you add a couple of three, make a khichdi out of it, maybe you can come up with something new.
And it will be
uh,
yours completely.
yes, definitely. So this is what we try to encourage children to think of something of their own.
I really like how you kind of connected your own passion for animation and just animated films and just the artwork that goes into it with, your classes that you conduct for children. But what is it that makes you passionate about art education? Because, you went from student to art student to artist and then art educator. So what was
I
it that
think
drew you or that made you?
I think that has a lot to do with the space that I was in. Like Art First gave me enough space to grow, and I would really give credit to my colleagues and the Art First entire Art First team who had allowed me to groom myself and uh, come up with my own methods and techniques to transact. But I also take back reference of my own school days where I never got a chance to express myself or chance to share my thoughts or ideas with the class or with the teacher. So I think that is, and also I think being a teacher is a very important role that helps develop child's personality, and so I think, and also nurture towards its own, look at its own perspective, and look at world differently. So as a teacher, it is very important, and which I think I lagged. So when I frankly speaking, before coming to Art First or before joining it, I never wanted to become an art teacher or anything. But I realized during the process, and I realized that being a teacher or being, because it is so much of sharing and learning from children, from so many different resources. So this sharing and participation of children, of teachers within that activity, a meaningful activity which can be fun and engaging, is something which I really like and which I really love. And and accepting every child's point of view, and then you talk about it, you question that, is something which I really love about education, and whether it is art education or you're teaching any other subject. But then these things I really now appreciate about this profession. So yeah.
In the comments, there are so many wonderful, all of our colleagues who are also incredible and they're so supportive. They're saying that, there's a lot that they've learned from you. Vishali, our artist mentor, has just said that she's learned many beautiful ways of making classes interactive with you. So speaking, keeping that interactive aspect in mind, children, as I've said before, are a crazy, crazy creative bunch. But have you seen something absolutely crazy in a classroom that was very transformative to how you kind of looked at your role as a teacher? When we asked Gopa this in the last session, she talked about how she was absolutely stumped when when she asked a student what their name means, and the kid said, "My name is me," like it means I am me. So I thought that was quite interesting. It was very, very heartwarming as well to just see how the kid um, looked at that question. So I'm curious about, you as somebody that I know for a fact has, like, very movement based, enthusiastic class exercises. Is there something specific that has stuck with you over the years?
So in a classroom, many things happen. Like right from the beginning, you enter the class to where when you end, there are many subsections to it. The way you engage, the way you manage time, children, and and also boost their thought process or so there are many processes, but in one of which I would like to share one incident that so this was like an impromptu thing. Okay, so we this was grade 3, and I had asked teacher to get a watchman torch, that the torch that watchman uses, the big one, and get some these paper thermocols, little thermocol balls or something which has to do with dots. Some bits of paper or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Some bits of paper if you can gather something. So she got that, and then when we entered the class, I switched off all the lights, and so she began her class with narrating a story, the story of Minnie and how she had some magical dots, and she was roaming around the village, and whatever she wanted, she could throw that magical dot, and that dot would make that thing appear whatever she wanted. So as
Okay.
she mentioned that thought, I was sitting at the back. I was acting like a lightman, okay, and it went on like a so as she started narrating, I switched on the torch, and there was, since it was a dark classroom, so so all the children were like, oh, a torch, a light, a circular light, and they were dot dot dot. And then I was acting like a lightman back there, and it became so theatrical that she was narrating the story. She was throwing all those sprinklers while she was narrating the story, and then I was kind of focusing light on different objects where she wanted children to look at, spot different dots within the classroom. She had purposely placed certain circular sort of objects all around the class. So I was pointing at that, and so that the entire act, the entire theatrical act became so experiential for them. So which made the introduction like it was really amazing, and children were like they were sucked into the class. So it was this was
Mm.
so teacher you usually teacher starts their classroom by narrating a story, or they come in and they say hi, how are you doing, they talk. But then this time I asked her to come on, let's try something else, and let's make it little experiential, or something that we have never tried before. So that was something which, and there are many more instances, but this is something I thought it's worth sharing.
And this was a lovely story, Thank you so much. And it's brilliant. Experiential learning is always, I feel, a very creative way to go, because this is something that you and I have talked about, where you can't repeat the same thing twice if you want to make a class interesting. Which brings us to our next question then, because you work with a teacher in sort of like, very, I'm not going to say a very rigid fashion, but there are certain ways of teaching that, just have been, and that's how the way it has been. But now you, an artist in a teaching space, is there a specific pedagogical insight that you have come across that you like working with?
Hmm. With pedagogical insight, I'm not sure whether if it fits in within the terms of pedagogy, but it is from my own experiences that I feel that since with arts, creativity is something which is very much associated with. So if you mean what is
Absolutely.
art, so creativity is something. But I also feel that with creativity, I think one should cherish or embrace failures. Where failing, we should accept failure, because if you look at within the school context, their teacher, student, or a parent, they always aim to pass, or to aim for certain score, which is so and so percentage. But then failing to try or attempt new things, you fail. And in order, and when you fail, you learn from your failure, and then you attempt many more different ways. Like, I would say that Thomas Edison would be a very creative person who could manage to look at 100 different ways to lit a bulb. Those were 100, there were 100 failures, but with one success. But then he came up, he could think of different processes. And also when you, and so it's like a surprise element, whether you pass or whether you succeed towards an attempt or you may not. But then you are innovating, you're learning with different methods, you're not just repeating the last success. So I feel that to be creative, one shouldn't be repeating its last success. So that is something I feel, that it is good to fail, and it is good to attempt new things, and enjoy the process, and never know what comes into way and what learnings you can gather. Many more learnings. That's what we
Absolutely.
as a mentor, even in our classroom or in our trainings, we ask teachers, okay, now this is what you have done up till now, which is very good. Now think of many more, think of other ways of transacting the similar concept. How can you connect with different other subjects and bring in more information or more experiences that would not only nurture children, but for teacher itself, the teacher will not be a stagnant person who keeps on repeating one thing after the one thing throughout the year. But then trying out new things will also will help teacher be a researcher, basically. So
Absolutely.
so failing is important.
Like we've got a bunch of very supportive comments. Thank you, everyone. I just thought I'd read them out to you. Rishali says, failures open up a possibility of explorations. And I feel like that ties in very well with what you just said about teachers. Ritu pointed out that mistakes are actually beautiful. And Gopa says failures are a very important part of learning. Rivka has just contributed. She says failure can free us from what we think we know to explore the unknown. And I feel like that perfectly ties in with your point for teachers being, researchers within that very space. I think that was very well said. Thank you so much, Abhinav.
Thank you so
I
much.
feel like we've gotten to the fun part now. Would you like to turn on a filter, Abhinav, since we're going to segue and we don't have fancy VFX in this interview?
Can you please tell me how should I do that? I have no
Sure.
idea.
On the bottom of your screen, there is an arrow, and next to the arrow, there's a
Yeah.
face with some sparkles. If you click that, there should be
Okay. Should I?
some.
Yeah, I've clicked on something.
Can you see my
Nothing
glasses?
happened. Yeah, मेरे में नहीं हो रहा है, क्या बात है?
Oh, you look so nice. It suits you.
Oh God. I'm just trying random things.
Which one do you think is best? Oh, this one is too cool. Maybe you can join me with your glasses.
Okay.
So while you figure out your filter, Abhinav, there's just one last question, and that this is something I'd like to ask like every artist mentor that comes our way. This one looks very funky, very party-like. This is the same as mine.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Rivka. Yo, this is for you.
Happy birthday, Rivka. This one is for you. So, Abhinav, if you had all the resources, like an unlimited repository of resources in the world, what would your ideal art making space look like? There is no limit on the idea that you're going to have with us, going to share with us.
Okay, so I think my ideal classroom would look like it would be a mix of two different things. Okay, one would be the world of
Okay.
Hobbiton or a Shire, which there would be all green and lush green, and with that I would like to have a world of amusement. There are many different rides and many different games within an amusement park. So I would like to have a mix of both, where there is you are around nature, you can go underground, you're above the ground, and with that, with some funky, amusement park sort of rides, or games that you see, like different mirrors all around, a ghost house or something like that, where you can, so maybe in a classroom that could be into that we can have that into something conceptual, but to have an experiential space where you distort yourself, you sort of try out many new things, you by adding something or the other, so that
It
can,
sounds
so it
like your
makes
whole classroom, the breaks would be incredible. Because they're like,
yeah,
sir, may I go to the bathroom? But they'll actually go on the roller coaster. And then when they come back
yeah,
sicker than usual.
yeah. So
Do you
so
think
yeah, so
that
the
is
mix of
something
both.
that you can incorporate in your classrooms today? Like Ritu says, you can turn the classroom furniture upside down.
Hmm.
Kids can jump over that.
Yeah, kids can
I know
jump,
that they
kids
would
can lie down,
never.
kids would climb trees, do whatnot.
Everything. Sky is the limit. I don't think that if I was a kid in this kind of class, I would never want to leave. If you're bored of the roller coasters and the mirrors, you can just go lie down on a lovely grassy hill.
Yeah, Hannah. So, and that's what
Wow.
children love. That's what children love about amusement parks, and you have place to run, to use different, things, objects full of colors, and um, so yeah.
That's It was always nice as always. It's been nice talking to you, Abhinav. I was just wondering if any of our viewers have questions. They seem to be enjoying your idea of a classroom that is outdoors. Like I can see that people in the comments are having a blast discussing the many ways we can enjoy a classroom outdoors. Does anybody have any questions? Do you think you'd want? You can leave them as comments, or there is a question sticker if you'd be interested. But until then, Abhinav, thank you so much for speaking with me about this. It's, as always, a pleasure talking to you, and I'm glad that I could share your crazy, fun ideas with all of our viewers on our first Instagram page.
Thank you so much, Winona, for having me here. It was really fun to share my thoughts, and thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining in,
It
and
was great as always. Join us next week when we speak with um, our really incredibly fun, passionate colleague, Rishali. She's an artist mentor here at Art1st. And I'm very excited for everybody to meet her, and I'm very happy that everybody got to meet Abhinav. See you all next
thank you
week.
so much.
Thanks for speaking with me, Abhinav. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.